do.
Have you had those conversations with big labels and stuff? They usually they reach out to a lot of people even early on.
No. I mean, they reach out to my manager if they do, but
Okay.
I mean, they've had a conversation with one label. It was another independent label based out of San Francisco. But just trying to make sure that I also want to build myself a little higher too. Like I want to build myself a little bigger before we start having those conversations, because I feel like, one, I haven't done enough. Two, I haven't had that song that's kind of like, like the Underrated by Zoe Osama, or the,
Which, by the way, I just saw Billie Eilish having a conversation about that song and calling him Zoe Osama, which
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear audio, but I was scrolling through and I saw the producer Zeke, who I work with.
Yeah,
he had reposted it, and I mean, I follow Zoe too, but I just seen that and I was like, damn, that's dope. Like,
she's having that experience like 2 years after I had that experience, but for sure I had the same exact feeling. Like somebody sent me the song and I was just like, this is like one of the best songs I ever heard. Like this is just an automatic classic, and it's on the No Jumper channel, and it still gets like hundreds of thousands of views every month, which is crazy.
I know, I remember that. Yeah, so that song, or I haven't had the Johnny Dang by Mexican OC. Like I feel like I haven't had that yet. So I feel like I wouldn't want to have that and then have that conversation, because like, of course after that it's getting better every time. But like I said, I feel like I haven't had that yet, which comes with repetition and practice. You know what I mean?
That's a weird thing, because it's like one giant hit is worth more. It's worth 1,000 times more than like the other 50 songs you made before it. Like if you just need to hit gold, it's that one time that everything just works perfectly together.
And once I hit that, I feel like it'll trickle down and people will hear the rest of my music. Which, other people are a fan of, luckily. So, once I figure that out, then you know what I mean.
So do you feel like being Black and Mexican, do you feel like that makes your potential audience bigger, or do you feel like it almost kind of is just confusing for the audience?
I haven't really thought about it like that, honestly. I was actually talking to somebody one day before I started rapping, and I kind of tried to divide the two. I wasn't trying to divide the two, but it was like what is gonna be more of that audience, And he was just like, no one's really bridged that gap between both, so like, why not just make your music and then just, just represent both sides. And so it was never like I was gonna not represent one side or more of the other, but it was kind of just like I didn't understand that split, or what would come with it, So I mean, of course, from the get-go, it was like, I am both, I'm half and half. But there has been a great amount of support from both sides. It hasn't leaned over to one side more than the other. Like the people that I meet, when me and my cousin Raya just went to Phoenix last November, and we went to the mall. We went to a few different malls, and like people were recognizing me, both races, asking to take pictures with me, both races. And then one of the shoe cleaners at one of the malls, like I thought he was gonna ask me to clean my shoe, and he started spitting one of my songs to me.
Wow.
So I was like, this is crazy, you know what I mean? But he was, he was Black, he was a brother, and then, a lot of the other people that asked me for pictures were Mexican. So it happens both ways.
Which side do you feel like you tend to like relate to more culturally?
I don't really feel like I relate to one more or the other. I mean, I guess because I am in tune with both sides of my family. So both sides of my family, you know what I mean? They it's not like I grew up, just because my dad wasn't around doesn't mean, like, you know what I mean? I still had that connection with my dad's side. So like my aunts, you know what I mean? They were still living in LA. One was living in Redondo. You know what I'm saying? My grandma, before she passed away, she was in Azusa. So it wasn't like it leaned or trickled to more side than the other, one side more than the other. I wish I was fluent in Spanish. I'm not fluent, but I was wondering that.
Okay,
yeah. So I mean, but and I don't really know anything about my family in Mexico. I still have family in Michoacan that I don't know about. And I know a little bit more about this side on my dad's side, like history wise more. But yeah, I mean, as far as relation to one side or the other, it's kind of, honestly, it's really the same. Like I love the fact that I'm both. Like I'm blessed to be both, and I love it. And it's cool to like, you know what I mean, to know that I am, Black and Mexican. Like it's dope. It's dope.
Definitely. Who stands out to you as like other prominent mixed people in the rap game? Or like I had Rico Too Smooth on recently.
Yeah. Rico Too Smooth. I've actually
hard as a rapper.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and I've heard a lot of his stuff too. But I mean, I'm familiar with who he is through Instagram and everything. But yeah, him. Who else is mixed? Yellow Hill's mixed. Yellow Hill's actually the same. His dad is Mexican. His mom's black.
Right.
So of course him. I was trying to think of who else is mixed. Who else is?
I thought Drex the Joint was mixed, but he's just Mexican, but just hella dark skins.
Full Mexican.
Yeah.
Full Mexican, and his brother down in Mexico too. His brother's hard too. But Drex has been killing it. That's another person that's been killing it too for the West Coast. Seeing him and seeing, you know what I mean, somebody that's that young to be able to really like trailblaze for that. You know what I mean? That,
definitely.
For the whole race, you know what I mean? And even just where he's from and being from Orange County, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, Drex, I mean, I feel like that still creates a little bit of like, people kind of look at that because he does look full black. He looks black.
For sure.
And you know what I mean? He's fully from Mexico, you know? So, I mean, you know, either way, you know, like I said, as far as people being mixed, but I mean, if they are mixed, and more power to, you know what I mean? All power to them, you know what I mean? But even if they're one or the other and they're still connected with that side, you know, because a lot of these artists are working together. Rowdy Rax had a song, you know what I'm saying? Rowdy Rax has a lot of songs. He has a song with Yellow Hill now. Lefty Gunplay has a lot of music.
RJ.
With, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I was just seeing that the song with his song with RJ, I think, has like 10 times as many views as anything else he put out in the past couple months. Which
that song's
crazy.
hard too.
Yeah.
That song's hard. But I mean, he has like Boulevard Babies and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of these artists are working together, and it's dope to see. You know what I mean? It's because I mean, there's really like there's a division there in a sense, but it's not really like it's. You know, they're moving past that.
But you said that you didn't even really like think it was a thing or think it was a big deal at all until you kind of got older, which I could definitely see. Like I've known a lot of people throughout my life that were mixed that didn't seem like much of a topic of conversation, but then you're in the public eye and all of a sudden people want to discuss it like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't look at it too crazy. I mean, I my whole family tree looks crazy, so I never really looked at it specifically like that. I just understood what I was. And growing up where I grew up, you know, on the east side, it's a very multicultural. We have Samoans in the neighborhood. We have blacks. We have Mexicans, Filipinos in the neighborhood. You have a lot of different people in Oceanside as a whole. But predominantly where I'm from, like you have in the neighborhood, you have a Crip gang that is mostly black, you know what I mean? I know some Puerto Ricans from there, and then you have a Mexican gang who's like, it's predominantly Mexican with some black people. And so like, you know, you see these things, and even just away from the gangs, it's like, it's a melting pot. Like we all grew up playing basketball together. We all, you know what I mean? Like no matter what it was, like it wasn't until we were older that kind of became a thing, the separation due to races. Cause in Oceanside, it's, you know, it's more so like race based when it comes to certain things. So you know what I mean? But yeah, I was kind of blind to it. Not blind to it, but I just didn't really care about it too much until, you know what I mean, I got older and I saw that, you know, a lot of people did give a about it. So but yeah, I mean, like the guys that I brought with me, those are my cousins and my brother, you know what I mean? And we're all Mexican, you know what I mean? They're part Mexican, or you know what I mean? They're full Mexican, you know what I mean? So it's yeah, like I said, I was blind to it until I got older, and then I started seeing the difference. And then, of course, people, when you get in public, people want to discuss it. Or if I look the way I do, and I start speaking Spanish, then you know, people obviously want to discuss it. So, you know, it's a topic of conversation most of the time, but I just look past it. I don't really, you know.